Okay, good afternoon. How's your day?
Good, sir.
Good, doctor.
Mashallah, good sir.
Okay, very good. You had your lunch or you joined the class before you having your lunch? Okay. So I hope you are in the good mood, good energy for today class. Before we start the class, I want just give you repeat again the information about our test this week, 2nd December, 2 p.m. I already shared the detail with you that what time you have to join the link, how you have to join the link, how set up the camera, what time you will receive the file and the password. And since I know you have a lot of experience about this outer system, I believe it won't be any issue or problem in this week. Your test will be on Thursday, 2 p.m. So let's start today's class.
Doctor, I want to ask about a test
Yes.
which chapter will cover? All chapter? Or
Chapter, everything you study so far.
even this week?
No, except this week. Until last week. Means week 7. Yes, anyone else have a question? Please ask. Please share your question with me. Any question about test? Feel free to ask, okay?
No, sir.
Okay, you want to know how many questions you have?
Yes.
Okay, then why?
Yes.
If there is any tips.
Okay, then you better
Tips,
ask
Dr.
me in the advance. So the tips, the best tips I can give you, the test is about chapter 1, 2, and 3, and you have to study every single pages of your PDF file. That's the best tips I can give you. Questions very easy. But you share your question with me. Maybe I can give you more straight answer.
The test in subjective, doctor.
Yes, all.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Since there are 3 chapters, I think logically should be 3 questions. 1 question from each chapter. No more question?
What is the largest mark among the question?
What is the largest mark? Okay, you will see on Thursday. I cannot tell you right now, and even if I tell you, that's give you not so much information, right? You should wait until Thursday. You will see. and but the questions is not single section. Maybe sometimes one question, sometimes one question have two sections. Well, prepare yourself for any type of question. Everything's within what we discuss and in the file I shared with you. There's no question which would be out of this issue. Okay, let's go to see what we have in the chapter 4. We actually have, in total, we have 5 chapters in this semester. Chapter 4 is related to planning and scheduling. There is a little difference between what you have learned so far and what you're going to learn from this week to the end of semester. There's actually, it doesn't mean this is easier or harder, just different in terms of the information you will receive. In scheduling, you need to calculate a very simple mathematics, like 2 plus 3, 3 plus 4. It's very, very simple, but it have a purpose behind it. So let's see what we're discussing here. Scheduling, tracking in construction project management. Okay, sorry. Before I go through this issue, I want just give you some having discussion with you about the workshop that I shared with you, I think few days ago. There is a workshop in UTM, and the topic of this workshop is very close to what we discussing from this week to the end of this semester. If you want to learn more about planning and scheduling, especially the information you will learn in this topic is how you calculate the scheduling by hand. But in this workshop, they will teach you how you have to do the same job by a software. So for those of you who are interested, you may please join to this seminar or workshop, whatever they call it. And the cost, I think, is very cheap. It's just 25 ringgit for a student. It's not belongs to me. It's for one of my colleague. And feel free to register, okay? But if you ask me, it's very good for you. It will give you so much information and data, which is good, not only for this subject, but for future job as well. So let's go back here. The topics that we going to learn here this week and also next week is following principle, WBS, or work breakdown structure. So just let me add something here, WBS, avoid any confusion. This one is very important. In any single project, in any single construction, you arrive, they must, and they will actually, they have WBS. Otherwise, they cannot make any scheduling or make any plan for their project. So there are so many different methods for this topic. You can see here, there's a Gantt chart, S-curve, successor, predecessor relationship, which is part of ADM, PDM, CPM, or is the process that you need to handle and use in these 3 methods. These 3 methods basically doing the same thing, calculating the same process, but they have a different rules. We are going to learn about all of them during this rest of this semester. So before we going to learn about planning and scheduling, I have a question from you. Do you know what's the meaning of the figure front of you, right? This is about the sustainability and sustainable construction. Can anyone tell me what is the connection between sustainability and planning scheduling of work? What is the interface between sustainability and planning scheduling? I'm listening. If you have any idea, please share with me and class.
Between what, Doctor?
Between first planning and scheduling. As you can see, I highlight here scheduling, planning, tracking work, and sustainability. You can Google, feel free, but if you have any answer, share with me. Or if you have any opinion, okay, feel free, let me know. One side sustainability and another side is planning scheduling. Why you have to learn about, ask yourself before I ask you, why you have to learn about planning scheduling in the sustainability subject? Any idea? As you remember, I always ask you to know why you have to study that topic, that subject. Once you know, then you can have a good improvement. You can learn something. So here I have a question. Yes?
Yes, I think you are I'm a project manager or project, and you have the project and you have the timeline for your project, and you have to make your planning schedule for your project. That's you will not waste any time and waste any date or months for that. That's you have to.
Okay, this is correct. This is the definition of why you have to do planning and scheduling. But my question is, what is connection between scheduling and planning with sustainability?
Uh, is connect each other. When we planning the project, we apply the concept of sustainability. That's why
How?
we need to
Okay.
like we reduce the cost, reduce the usage of natural resources by applying this concept of sustainability.
Okay.
Is
Okay.
that
Yes. Name. Very good. Okay. Okay. That's good. Anyone else?
I think if you want to make your project in sustainable way, you have to understanding the planning schedule. You have to make the planning schedule for that. If you want a move in a sustainable way to your project.
Okay. And okay. Okay. I accept that. Anyone want to add something, please? And let me ask you another question. How much you think planning scheduling can help you to have a sustainable project? Is it really helpful or not really meaningful?
I think it's really helpful.
Really helpful. Okay, so you strongly agree that planning and scheduling have a straight connection to the sustainability. Okay, very good. Let's see. So then keep in your mind, this is the definition of sustainability, which is have social, economic, and environment quality. Now, here we want to talk about the plan, having a plan, right? So if there is no plan, then there is no control in the job, in the responsibility that you have in the project. So you must have a plan. In that case, you can have a control. And when you have a control, you can make any decision toward sustainability. You can make decision to finish your project on time and based on appropriate budget. Now, what is the project planning? The process identifying all the activity necessary to successfully complete the project. All the activity, this is the most important things that you can learn here. One project might consist of few hundred, sometimes few different activities. You arrange the activity means you can make planning in the project. Provides map to guide where to go and focus on how to get there. Planned in early stage of the project life cycle or even before the physical activity of the project started. Means before you bring any equipment, machinery to your site, doing any excavation, you have to do the planning first. Means the activity, physical activity is the 0%, but your plan should be run already. I think you have a question. What is the planning? Let's see, what is the planning? But keep in your mind what we learned from this slide, that planned stage should be accomplished before any physical activity on the project. So what is the plan? Let's see. The plan in the project means you assess the time of the project and cost of the project based on the goal. Define the project and draw or done the WBS or work breakdown scheduling. Left down, you can see develop work breakdown structure. This work breakdown structure will help you in the next stage. So you can understand how many days each activity does it take, which activity should come after another. You can easily collect all your project activity, or let's call it data, whatever, extracted from WBS or work breakdown structure. And the last one that need to be done in activity stage is identify two things, very important. First, resource and team member. Team member is not only you recognize who is the, for example, project manager, who is the consultant, who is the, for example, contractor. Is beyond that. If your project will take 300 days and on the day 250, you need somebody on the, like carpenter, you can identify that person in this stage already. So not only the current employee, current worker, but future worker need to be choose and manage in this stage, in the planning. And also the equipment and material. This all related to the planning stage. But let's see why we do that. The importance of planning. Why we need to make a plan. First, reduce the mistake and rework. For example, when you already determine the quantity and types of the material you need, you need 5 lorry or truck of the brick type A or whatever. So if you make it here, so you already know. But if you not make planning and give a wrong order, that would be very costly for you. Avoid wastage because you already determined the quantity of your required materials. So it can help you to avoid any waste or wastage. Minimize unnecessary work, provide better quality control, offers effective project progress control, and delivers effective resource usage. Those are the reason why we need make a planning in the earliest stage of the project. But now we want to talk about scheduling. What is the scheduling? And what's the difference between the scheduling and planning? Let's read. Process determining the sequential order of the planned activity and assign them duration. I want flashback to planning. This is planning we just discussed. Here in the WBS, you just mention I need excavation the earth, okay? The soil, excavation the soil. But that's it. You not mention how many days this process take. In the planning, you mention I want cast the concrete for foundation. But you don't need, and you won't do that. You mention how many days this process take. You just put the activity, not the duration. You don't need to mention duration in the planning, but you need to mention in the scheduling stage. So what is the activity here? For scheduling, first of all, top left side, sequence activity. Every single of this circle here, you have assumed as one activity, okay? So you make the sequence, which means what activity you need to done until another activity can be started. Like you need to install the windows, okay? In Windows frame, aluminum Windows frame, this one. This need to be finished and then install the glazing or painting the wall. So you mentioned which one need to be done first, which one has a priority, and which one need to be accomplished in second, third, fourth, and goes on. This is very important, this sequences activity. And next one, on the right top, you assign the people who they need to do some special work. As I gave you example, such as carpenter, you mentioned the carpenter need come here on the week 12, on the week 20. It doesn't matter. The point is you exactly and clearly can mention when you need that technician, that expert. schedule deliverables. That's very important because you can determine which day one activity. When I say activity, is anything in the project called activity. Install the door, painting the wall. Okay? This one you mention in this stage, which day that special activity will be a start and which day will be finish. This one they call scheduling. And also resource, same as assign people, you can assign the resource. For example, on 5th June, you need 1 truck of cement. When you do that before project is started in the planning, but in the planning you not mention any date. When you arrive to scheduling, then it's the time you assign the time. So this is the 4 main activity or task that will be done in the scheduling stages. You can compare it with the planning. Take a look here. Those activity, this 4 is related to planning stage, but you not mention any date. In the scheduling, you become more, you do some more professional task. So why you have to do a scheduling? Is it necessary? Let's ask ourselves why I have to do a scheduling. If a scheduling not give me any profit, if it's not efficient, why I have to do? So in this page we read why we need to do a scheduling. First, the claim. Project time and cost control. Allocate project resource more efficiently as a monitoring tool. Because when you make a scheduling, as I show you, you already assign some worker during the project. So you can daily check every single day, daily you check it. Is everything based on my plan or not? So you make plan for, just imagine the work take 300 days. Before project start, you make a plan for next 300 days. But you need to recheck your scheduling every single day, because there are so many reasons that your project might not goes on the track. Such as, can you give me example? What reason might happen that there is a delay happen in your project? What can cause a delay in your project? Any reason?
Raining.
Raining, yes, thank you, very obvious. And I think in Malaysia, where we live, the tropical climate, raining oftenly happened, and that might cause delay in the project. So you need to update that scheduling every day, especially when there is a raining. Why you have to do that? To avoid any delay in the last or deadline of the project. If you're supposed to finish on the day 300, the raining should not case that you finish on the day 301, because you rearrange the task. Still, you get the 300 days. Okay, the rest you can study. Desired result for planning and scheduling. Why you have to do planning and scheduling is for a student read. So you study this page later. I only highlight one because it's very important. And it says, you run the project. instead the project running you. So what is the difference between planning and scheduling? Can't we call it one activity? So we cannot do that, as you can read here, because the planning come first, then in the next step, scheduling. So apparently these two are really separate job. But it should be done by one person or one group of project manager. Planning is more difficult than scheduling. Can anyone tell me why this sentence is correct? Why planning is more difficult than scheduling? Or if you disagree, you tell me why you disagree. Any reason? Any answer?
I think planning they have many steps and many ways. More difficult than schedule. Schedule, if you get your planning, you can make your schedule easy. This first step. The step which is the planning, and second step which is schedule. That's your make your date and make your schedule as your planning.
Okay. So you think planning is difficult because it's the first stage. And okay, thank you so much. Anyone else?
Planning is something that haven't listed down yet, so we need to jot down the work that we have to done. But scheduling is something that we already have the work, but we need to put the time, then arrange the time. The work is already have, but we need to schedule it. Instead of planning, we need to jot down what kind of work we need to do.
Okay. I can say I agree with that, but that's answer bring up another question. As you said, and also our previous friend, Luai, No, Bashir, right? Bashir is more easy for me. As Bashir also said, in scheduling, you need to assign duration. You think that's the easy task?
Not the duration also, but in planning, you made your steps, and you made this. It will be difficult more than schedule. Schedule, you have to minimize your duration in your project. This also step one of the step on the schedule.
Minimize what, Bashir? Minimize what?
Or not minimize, I think, but we can say that you have to be specific or approximate and you select your duration.
Okay, that's good. Now I have a question. Not only Bashir, anyone else can answer. So we are all agree in the scheduling we need to assign duration. For example, we want to paint the 5-story building, and you need make a duration for this activity. How do you know how many days or weeks does it take to paint the whole building? Where you got this information? How you supposed to know? Yes, Ashir?
I think the client who suggests you the material and the budget, that depends on that reason. Also, your construction must be your construction, not the planning or the way how you build this house stories. This is what I think about these ideas.
Okay, let me ask like that. I'm a project manager and I make a scheduling. I mentioned 20 days will take to paint the whole 5-story building. But you tell me, Bashir, it's take 25 days. How I know you are correct or I am correct?
We should refer contractor and client also.
Contractor and client. Okay, contractor and client. Anyone else? How we can get the duration in the scheduling? The correct estimation from our previous works. If we already work for a few years, we must know this specific activity, how many days will take, does it take? Or if we don't have this experience, we always can ask from those who have this knowledge, this experience. So this is not the task that you keep to yourself. If you have that information, you apply it. But if you don't, you always should seek the experienced people around you. There is a mistake that normally happen on the building, that most of the engineer, they don't have a vivid definition between the planning and scheduling. They think these two terms is the same thing. Even right now, if you go around where you live to just some factory, some construction site, if you ask the engineer, many of them maybe they don't know the difference. But right now you already know. Tool used for planning is different from the tools used for scheduling. For the planning, we just mentioned WBS, work breakdown structure. And for scheduling, there are different software such as MS Project or Primavera. These two software are the most famous one used for scheduling in the construction industry. But not only scheduling, not only used in the construction industry. Many factories around the world, they use the MS Project software to handle if they have multitasking in the process of their work. They use this software. Okay, so it's not limited only to construction industry, but it's very famous in our job. Principle of planning scheduling. Okay, this is for a student read, and it's because it's very simple, so I'm not repeated again. It's been read for a student for many semester. So we follow, we respect this rule here. This one you study later. So why we want to have a planning and scheduling? First one, we want to get one of them, not first one, let me put it this way, client satisfaction. The collection of project critical component will lead to client satisfaction, which means control the cost, control deadline or time, the quality that delivered to the client, the scope of the project, and resources. So what is the step in planning and scheduling? Since you already know there are two different tasks, two different actually job. So first one, scope definition. This is the first stage. Create WBS. We go to the next step. Activity resource planning, activity duration estimation. This is just the topic we discuss. And same time, you can see this green color need to be done parallel at the same time with the cost management, cost estimating and cost budgeting. So these two steps is very important and need to be done simultaneously. Now, what is the steps in planning and scheduling? The first one, WBS. We're going to have some example of WBS on the next slides. Second, prepare a drawing. Prepare a drawing. Let me just give you an example. Take a look here. Something like that. I just want you to have a vision. You understand what we're going to do. Then determine the time, the related cost and resource. Calculate the schedule, determine the start, finish time for each activity, and free float, total float. Don't worry, we will discuss later about this. Just I want these terms be familiar to your eye, to your ears. Analyze the cost and resource and communicate the result of plan and schedule. So first is first. Now we want to know what is the WBS or work breakdown structure. This task identifies the task and activity must be performed in the near future, because we say the planning should be done before physical activity started. It divides the project into identifiable parts that can be managed. And the purpose is the work to be performed, need of expertise, assist in selection of project team, and establish a base of the project schedule and control. So when we want to develop WBS, we should consider those activities that require time. If some activity does not require any time, so it cannot be considered as activity, okay? We don't have anything that not required cost and time. Activity required cost and time. Activities need to be arranged, and activities need to be monitored. This stage is not happen before project start, but during the processing of physical activity of the project. There is a very simple example here. Until level 3, you can see the level 1, level 2, the second, and level 3. Sometimes the WBS will be very, very complicated. But if the project is small, no, it's should be something like you see here. Take a look here, try to read. This is the name of the project, what they need to be done. Level 2, project start, preliminaries, block A, test, and project finish. So during this 5 step, 2 step have subcategories, some more details. Like for example, for constructing the block A, there is a need earthwork, structure work, and the other things you can see. So this still can be expanded if you've been asked to draw until level 4, level 5, level 6, for example, earthwork still can be divided. Like transfer machinery to the site, excavate the soil, transfer away from the site. But here, only they show until level 3. Okay, so after you draw this WBS, you need to transfer the information as you can see here. Start the project. Take a look here. For example, these 2 items was part of preliminaries. Here we wrote it here. Block A, there are 4 different tasks for block A, testing and project complete. Why WBS is important? Okay, this one also for a student read. You please read it later because everything is important. Now let's have another example. You are the project manager. Not now, but very soon in the future, you can be. You got a task, you got a project, you need to construct a building, and you want to prepare WBS until level 4. Let's see how you have to do that. This is just example based on a scope of project. The WBS can be changed, modified. This is just example. It's not necessary all single project follow this WBS, okay? I just want you to think bigger. So let's see what we have here. Level 1, this is the name of the project. Level 2, distributed to 3 sections. And level 3, divided. And also level 4, you can see, for example, structure divided to 4 different tasks. Architecture, 4 different, and ME, wiring and fitting installation. If they wanted to make level 5, they needed to go through the more detail. So after you draw everything like that, as you can see, you need to put the information like table, you can see here, because this one will transfer to the software exactly the same way you have seen front of you right now. You can see front of you. Okay. So I just told you the software of MS Project is not only for construction industry, but many factories which produce different products. It doesn't matter, such as computer, manufacturing laptop. They use MS Project in their factory to arrange, to schedule everything. But here we have example. Even for camping trip, you can make WBS. Let's see how. Take a look, read, and it's very fascinating because everything that you do, like traveling, like even cooking, everything you can create a WBS for it. So for camping trip, you can see there are so many different activity and tasks need to be done, need to be arranged to have a best camping trip. But since you take it camping as a very easy task, maybe you don't need to write it down as front of you in the screen. But if you do that, you will get something like this. Okay. Now, before we continue, you can make your attendance. So this semester is the first time I noticed we don't have any semester break, like 1 week off for a student. So we continue without any delay, hiccup. So this is the week 8.
Yes, we don't have.
Yes, correct. Okay, let's continue. Here we discuss about scheduling. There are so many different types of technique for scheduling. When I'm talking about the scheduling, I would like you imagine this task in your mind. Look at here, these related to scheduling. So there's some different method. There are like 4 are very famous. So which of those 4 methods you have to use? That depends on the project size, how the project complicated or not. Is duration of project is how long? If project only 10 activity and take 1 month, maybe I can tell you, okay, bar chart is the best, but activity is 200 and duration is 2 years, even more or less, the critical path method is the best. But this critical path method also have different strategy, different methods. So 2 general methods commonly used are called as bar chart and CPM. Today we discuss about bar chart and S-curve. Physical S-curve is different than financial S-curve. However, I'm not sure if we cover everything here today. If not, next week. But for the next week, we continue with other methods, such as arrow diagram method, they call it ADM, and persistence diagram method, they call it PDM. These 2 methods are more update method compared to bar chart. Bar chart is, the history of bar chart is around 60, 70 years maybe. I think so. The last time I checked was many years ago, but this very old, very old. And the person who created that, his name was Gant. They 2 person actually collaborate with each other, so they name it after Gantt, Mr. Gantt chart. So we have 2 different S curve, physical one and financial. Let's go see what is that. Oh, okay, mentioned here, developed by Henry L. Gantt. It's a graphical time scale to show the scheduling of the project. The length of each bar, for example, the first one is shorter than the second one, right? The length of this each bar shows duration of that activity. If the bar is longer, means the duration is higher than another one. Let's take a look here. The excavate activity, how many days does it take? Take a look here. Go to this row, 2 days, 4 days. So from here, you can see the excavate activity takes how many days? 4 days. How about the second activity from form footing? How many days? Anyone can tell me how many days this second activity takes?
6 days.
Correct, because start from 3rd day means the day first and day second, no work for footing, but start on day 3 and finish in the day 8, which means take 6 days. How about the place rebar? How many days?
4,
Correct. How about the place concrete? How many days?
6,
8 days.
6 or 8?
6.
Why 6?
Wait for
there.
the concrete to dry first. I don't know if there is a space in between.
Yeah, your answer is correct. It takes 6 days. Yes, but you see the 8 days, okay, right? 8 days. Here there is a gap. What is this gap? What does mean? How we can interpret? There is a gap there. Okay? I mean, I say okay means I want you to think about it. This place concrete, yes? This place concrete take 6 days. But these 6-day works need to be done during the next 8 days from the day 8, which means if 2 days you not work on this activity, still okay. Your project will not face any delay. Either you can start the place concrete on the day after day 8, or you can start it on after day 10. You still can finish on the day 18. Your project, I'm talking about your project, not this activity. Your project is still finished on time. Okay? So this gap means you have 2 days there that you can either start it on the day 8 to finish on day 14, or you can finish on day 16. On the middle, maybe you want to do something else. If somebody not get the point why there is a white color, there is a gap, please ask. I can explain again to you what is the issue. Okay, so I hope everybody understood. Then the last one take only 4 days, and the whole project finished on 18 days, in 18 days. So this is, we talk about bar chart, Gantt chart, okay? Now, the Gantt chart have some advantages. At the same time, come with some disadvantages. The disadvantage is very difficult. This is for a student read. I should go to the next slide, but I really don't want to miss it right now. Difficult to update. What does mean? You draw this bar chart, and then I'm ask you to add another activity after place rebar. What happened? It's not easy. You take eraser and remove it and add your another activity. This is the disadvantage of this method, and the rest you can read. And this is advantage, and this one disadvantage and advantage. If something unclear for you later, you always welcome in next week, next section, you share your question with the class, with me, and we discuss in the class. So this one for a student read, you will read later. Now, let's see. There is a project here, and it contains 12 activities. Mobilization until the end, 12 activities. So, every single activity, there have in front, you can see there are 2 different bars, right? One blue color, one red color. Let's see why we have the 2 different bars for every single activity. The first one, you can see here, we shows by original scheduling. And second one, the red color, actual progress. Before I explain, can any of you tell me what is different between two different bar, the blue color and red color?
One is original schedule and one is actual schedule. One
Okay.
is original that should be done, but the actual progress is what the time they actually done.
Okay, that's correct. Anyone else can complete your friend explanation? Have a
The blue one
different.
is the planning,
Okay.
the planned one, but the actual work, uh, the bright one.
Yeah. Imagine. Thank you, both of you. Very good. Imagine this is the middle of the project. 3 months pass, 6 months pass from the day you start the project. The blue color show us the planning, scheduling that we made before the physical activity started. When the project manager made the blue color bar, nothing has done that time during that time. No physical activity. But red color is your daily update. It's current update, okay? That's the difference. So remember the original and actual meaning. Now, for why we draw this blue color, red color? Because we need to draw the S-curve. You can see here, there are two different color curve, red color and blue color. So as the color shows, the blue one is related to the original schedule and red color shows the actual or day by day update. Now I have a question from you. When when the curve red color curve is below the blue color, what does mean? How you can interpret drawing the curves in one thing and translate it to the language everybody know is another things. So I would like to know what does mean when, like here, day 4 to day 6. What does mean? The blue color curve is the upper than red color. Can anyone share your opinion with me? Why? What does mean?
Sorry, doctor, I don't get the question.
Okay. Let me go back here, explain again. Everyone, please listen carefully. You see this blue color curve. This is the curve, right? Blue color curve. And there is a red color curve. Sometimes the red color is higher than upper than the blue curve, like here. Day 1, day 2, day 3. Let's look at here. The red color, I want to just choose the red color, but it choose everything. Never mind. Okay. Sometimes the blue color is higher than red color. My question from you is day 4, 5, 6. You see the blue color is in the top and the red color curve is in the below. I want to ask you, what does mean when you face this situation?
The blue one is higher because when it was planned, the work the work that was planned is apa, um more it is planned to be done more than what it is actually happening. That's why the blue one is higher than the. That's mean the activity that be done is much than the time. I don't know how to explain it.
No, you're explaining well. Continue. That's good. I'm sure everybody understand. Thank you. Anyone else want to add something? Yes, yes, Bashir.
I think when you start your project in very hard work, after that, after some months, some days, you will decrease that work because you will be the sometimes having in your project, and this will decrease your actual progress. When that's happen, you need to review your project planning, your project schedule, and you need to increase that actual work.
Okay, so on the day 4, 5, 6, let's we get to conclusion. When the blue curve is in the top, is it good or not good?
No.
No
No, I
good,
think no.
no good, no good. Okay, no good. Anyone else? Add something, please. Turn on your microphone. Share your opinion. It's okay. You can be agree with your friends or disagree. It's okay. We are here to learn something new. That's good. Just to, as long as you share your opinion. Any idea? No one else. Okay, then let's discuss. The purpose of the Gantt chart is to draw the S curve. That's why we have two different types of S curve. We want to see based on the daily progress. Listen carefully, please. We want to see, are we going to finish project on time or no? What you see here in this example, the project finished on time. Finished on time, day 10. So there is no delay. But there are something here because the red curve and blue curve are not match. Means in some days of the project, the work behind the schedule, and on another days the work proceed the schedule faster than what the original schedule, means blue color. So when you have the blue color here, like day 4, day 5, day 6, like that is in the top of the red curve, it means your project running faster than you expected. But on day 1, day 2, 3, you were behind the schedule, was not good. On the next 3 days, 4, 5, 6, the project got a speed. The work progress got a speed, which is good. Ignore the cost. We not talk about cost. Only time, which is good. So whenever the blue color on the top is good for the time, means your project running faster than your expectation, what you planned at the beginning of the project. Take a look and let me know if you have any question. No question? Okay. Let's have example. There is a very, I think, short or simple project because only take a few days, not for long, like 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 2 week, 2 week, almost 2 months half. A project consists of only 5 activity, which means it's not really complicated, not complex activity, very simple. Only 5 activity should be done in a period of time. Try to create bar chart. So you need to create bar chart to ease the project planning scheduling. Consider 1 week as 7 days. It's very obvious, right? 1 week, 7 days. It's not 8 days, it's not 6 days. Why we mentioned there? The reason is on job site, on the site, weekdays working is normally 6 days, not 7 days. 1 day, maybe Sunday or Saturday, sometimes only working days, 5 days per week. We consider 7 days for simplicity here. But in reality, if you're doing planning scheduling, you always need to consider 6 days or 5 days. Depends to your company, okay? So here, we just consider 7 days is easier when you work with your calendar. The activity 1 or A, duration is only 1 week. You already know that, you already determine it. And you have a starting point. This is also is your responsibility as PM. Which day is your start day? This is your responsibility. 1st June 2020, 22, 20, 25, okay? This is your task. So your task first, start day, your task to find duration. Your task is, this is for a scheduling task. Your task in the planning WBS to mention there are 5 different tasks. Let's see. Step 1, identify a start day. Start day is one thing, and identify also finish date. This is another things. So you have to do 2 things in the step 1. Find start day and find finish date for every single activity. Now, activity 1. What is the start day? 1st June. This is a start day. Let me highlight it different color. And we just mentioned in the previous slide, consider 1 week as 7 days. So take a look on your calendar. If this task start 1st June, will be finished on 7th June. It takes 7 days. If I told you the task takes 6, the weekday is 6 days, instead of 7, here should be 8. Because 1 day off. Okay, so let's go to activity B. Takes 2 weeks. A starting date is 8 June. Plus 14 days, it will be finished on 21st of June. The same process you continue until activity E, which is will be finished on 12 July. Now we need to draw the bar chart. Step 2, draw outline of bar chart. This is our activity, this is duration, and this is the start time for every single activity. If you take a look here, 1st June, 8 June, 15 June, 29 June. Here, let's see. This shows your bar chart. Take a look here. If you have any question, please share with me, with class. Okay, no question, right? So it's easy, you understood. But if you have any question, don't be shy. Just ask your question. So this is example 2. Let's see. There are some activity A to F. There are 6 different activities, and duration is days. Unlike previous example, duration was week. It doesn't matter, weeks or days. You just do whatever is needed. The start day is already cleared here. 4, 7, 10, 15. Here, okay, getting more interesting because you have a cost here and also total cost of the project. You have resource day, means in every single activity or single day, not activity, how many human you need, how many workers you need to accomplish that job. For activity A, every single day you need 2 human resource, 2 workers to do that task. It doesn't matter what is that, right? There is a task, could be anything. So activity B take 3 days, activity 3C take 2 days, and you already have, by accomplish every activity, how many percentage of your job will be done. Activity A, only 12%. Activity B, 30%. Activity C, 21st, and the total percentage is 100%. So same as previous example. The first thing you have to do is find the start day and finish day based on your calendar, because it depends is if working day, weekday consider 7 days or 6 days or 5 days. So you do the process, you find start day, finish day. Okay, they're so close. I'm afraid if that's confused someone. The left one is start day and the right one is finish date. Okay. Then draw outline of bar chart, which is your bar chart. Draw the activity bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 activities. That's it for today. Please review it before we come to the class next week. The data and what we want to do with the cost, resource, work progress, we will check next week. Okay, we will have some example and we review it for next week. I think that's enough for today, but I want strongly you review it before next week. One more time, I want to remind you about our test. Please do not forget and study well. The question is very good. Okay, very good. Yeah, the question is very good and easy. If you study well, let me say that, why I should not tell you. It's very easy. If you study well, it's very, very easy. Okay. If you have any question, please let me know. If no question, I will see you on Thursday and you can leave the Google Meet now.